Bonjour à tous and welcome to this French pronunciation lesson. This is part of a series, so if you haven't seen the introduction video to my pronunciation series, I do recommend that you watch that first. There will be an info card that takes you to that. If, however, you have already watched that video, you can continue to learn about fricatives in French. So French has a few fricative sounds, but the good news is most of them appear in English as well. Having said that, I know that not everyone is a native English speaker, so we will go through each one in detail. We'll begin with the f sound, which is the same as an English F. For this one, we're going to place our top teeth on the bottom lip and simply blow. There is no voicing in this one, so your vocal cords do not need to vibrate.
Faire.
The spelling for this one is very predictable. Usually, of course, it's the letter F, but it can also be PH, just like we have in English and even other languages. Fiona est forte, mais Flora est faible. Fiona est forte, mais Flora est faible. Next we have the S sound, which again is the same as the S in English. The tip of your tongue rests but doesn't touch just below the alveolar ridge. Remember, that's the little bump in the roof of your mouth. Blow through that little gap and you've got a nice clean S sound.
Sir.
There are a few different spelling variations for this one. Of course, at the start of a word, we're just going to use the letter S, but we also have the C with the cedilla, that's the little squiggle underneath. On its own, C will make a K sound, but if we put a cedilla on it, it then makes the S sound. When C is followed by I or E, it does the same thing. So followed by other vowels, again, it makes a K sound, but when there's an I or an E after it, it changes to a S, as in cire, se, and face. Also notice that we have a double S there, so an individual S between two vowels will usually make a Z sound, but when there are two S's, it always makes that S sound. Ses sœurs sont assez stupides. Ses sœurs sont assez stupides. Then we have the sh sound, which for all intents and purposes is the same as the sh in English. If we're being really picky, I would say that in English we have an awful lot of lip protrusion with this sound. So think about when you want someone to be quiet, you say shh. When we do this, our lips stick right out. The French don't necessarily do this as much, but it's not really a big deal because it doesn't really make a difference to the sound.
Sure.
Shh. You do need to be careful with the spelling in this one because in French it's spelt CH. There are a few loan words from English where we spell it SH, but this sound usually in French is spelt CH. Also notice the word architecture. In English, of course, this is architecture with a K sound, but in French it is still pronounced sh. I'll admit that this is not always the case. There are some instances of CH which make a K sound, but generally speaking, CH in French makes the sh sound. Le chien a choqué la vache. Le chien a choqué la vache. Then we have the V sound, which is basically the same as an English V. It's also the voiced version of the F sound we saw at the start. So for this one, again, we're going to put our top teeth on the bottom lip and then blow, but this time your vocal cords need to vibrate.
V.
V. The spelling of this one is typically with a V, as you might expect, but there are two other instances that we need to talk about. One is liaison with F. So if we have a word that ends with F, followed by a word that starts with a vowel sound, the F will liaise as a V, not a F. So the example you see here is 9 heures, 9 heures, meaning 9 o'clock. We don't say 9 heures, we say 9 heures. Then we have the relatively rare case of the German loan word beginning with W. In this case, the French pronounce it the same way as the Germans with a V sound, as is the case with the word wagon. That said, lots of words in French that begin with a W are borrowed from English, and so it will make the English W sound, so you do need to be careful. Votre wagon arrive à 9 heures. Votre wagon arrive à 9 heures. Next, we have the z sound, which of course is the same as the English z sound. It's also the voiced version of the s sound we saw before, so the tongue position is the same. Your tongue needs to rest just below the alveolar ridge, and we need to blow through that gap, but this time with voicing.
Z.
Z. The spelling for this one is rather predictable. Again, usually we're just going to use the letter Z, but S between two vowels will also make this sound, as in the word chose and bisous. We also have another case of this sound appearing in liaison, so when a word ends with an S and the next word starts with a vowel, that S will become a Z, as in vous êtes. We also see the same thing when a word ends with an X, as in aux échecs. Vous êtes dans un zoo aux États-Unis. Vous êtes dans un zoo aux États-Unis. And last but not least, for the fricatives, we have the zh sound, which is the same as the zh in usual and is the voiced version of the sh sound that we saw before. So once again, the body of your tongue is going to rest just below the center of the roof of your mouth. Your teeth will be slightly clenched, and you're going to blow through with some nice vocal cord vibration.
Je.
Zh. As for the spelling, this is the default sound for the letter J, so of course you'll see it a lot in words that contain a J. It's also the sound a G makes when it's followed by an E or an I. So usually, of course, a G makes a G sound, but followed by an E or an I, it makes the same J sound as the letter J. Je n'ai jamais nagé dans le garage. Je n'ai jamais nagé dans le garage. And there we have it for the fricative sounds in French. If you're a native English speaker, these shouldn't be too difficult for you, but if they are a little bit difficult or you're a non-native English speaker, please do let me know and I will do my best to help you. Thank you, of course, for watching this video, and until next time, à bientôt.